The challenges have happened, and you can play whatever the hell you want because it wins regardless. Let's take a look. Hey guys, welcome back to Casting Commons, the show where we talk and discuss all things Pauper. I am your host Teasdale, and this is my co-host, the fairy seer himself, Reese.
Hello.
I'm glad to say it's semi-relevant. Before we start, please do not forget to hit that like, subscribe, and follow button so you never miss an upload. It also helps the algorithm and gives us great exposure. It's a great way to support us for absolutely free. And if you're listening on Spotify, please give us a 5-star rating. That also helps us out too. So let's do some catch up. What you been up to this week?
I have played quite a bit of Pauper, I guess. I played a league with Mono Blue Terror. I haven't really had a deck for a while, and I'm just trying to test stuff to see what I want to end up on and like play for events. Because as people have probably noticed, every F&M I'd just play something completely different. So I thought Mono Blue Terror could probably be a deck that I would end up on. So I ended up running a league with that, which went pretty well. I ended up 4-1. I got unlucky against Mono Red at the end, which was sad. Because it was a very hard fought league. I think I texted you after it.
Yeah.
I was like sweating. I think I round 1 was against Fams. Round 2 was against Gardens, and round 3 was against Elves. I was just like, this is going to be a hard fought win. But yeah, finished 4-1. And it was good. I enjoyed the deck. It was Baco's list from last week. I know your video. I think you played. Was it Stompy's list with the couple of one-offs in?
Yeah.
That's probably something I'm going to try next. Although it was very solid, like it did feel like it was lacking like maybe a 5th answer for something on the board. Like it's got the 4 boomerangs, but that was basically it. But yeah, that was good overall. Then obviously we're back on our Pauper F&Ms locally. So I tried another deck that I thought I might end up on for those, which was the Ponzolus. And yeah, not the deck for me. It was fun, but it didn't have enough answers, I guess, or like ways around stuff. It was all just I'm gonna jam bombs and hope it works out, which a lot of the time it did. I played a Ponzolus Mirror with Stephen, one of our locals. He's been playing it for a while, and we were both basically just sat on massive chrysalises and couldn't do anything for like a large portion of the game. It was basically who draws the Revenging Hunter first, because the other person can't get through because there's an army of O1s.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of Ponza and Ponzolus in leagues, and if people have been following, like there's like Walker's been trying Shinnon of Life's Roar in the sideboard as a way to break the mirror, which is it's a creature with lure, so when it attacks, all creatures must block it, and it's basic because you just end up staring at each other with a bunch of stuff that forcing all their guys to block one guy means they'll probably get him for like
they just die
instantly.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised.
The bonus on that as well is you can channel it just give something else lure for one turn. So you just give your spawn lure, attack with everything. They all block the spawn, and then you just sack it to pump your 2 chrysalises and they die. But yeah, I did see him tweet about that, and it looked quite good, especially in the mirror. It just looked like a mirror breaker. Because it was very much like that. We both just sat behind this massive castle of massive guys. And basically whoever attacked first, if it was slightly wrong, they just died on the swing back. Or they got the board position 2 damage to continue. But yeah, it was fun. Pauper F&M's always fun, but Ponzolus definitely not the deck. So we're narrowing down a bit. We've got rid of one.
If you'd asked, to be fair, I probably could have told you casting big, dumb, green, giant creatures is definitely not in your wheelhouse. Little, small elves, more like it. But big, dumb elves, yeah, just big bombs. That's more my thing.
You're probably right. It's sort of one of, or was at least one of the top 5 decks. So I was like, I may as well give it a go.
At least you know.
Even if it's just to rule it out. Yeah.
But
So yeah, they both went well. Updated a few other decks as well that I'll probably try this week. So I'll probably be on either Affinity or Cold Daughter again. I might try running back the new versions of Cold Daughter. See what that's like. But yeah, pretty fun week of Pauper overall. What about yourself?
Can't complain. Yeah, I've just been. Well, I recorded the Mono Blue Terror list, the Stompers list that we talked about, where he runs one Artful Dodge and one Sleep of the Dead. That list was fun, and it was, again, it is fairly clean. It runs a lot of 4-ofs, and then just 2 deep analysis, and then 2 1-ofs from memory. And the Sleep of the Dead and the Artful Dodge both just overperformed for me, like, especially against, like, Ponza and, you know, certain things like that. The Artful Dodge was just a Goblin Grenade, effectively. You just 1 mana hit you for 5. And if you did have it in your hand, it was even more. It was 2 mana hit you for 10 or 11. And then Sleep of the Dead was pretty good as well. Like, obviously keeping something tapped for quite a while, or even just tapping something down to get through for lethal. It really did impress me. I spoke to Stompy at the end of it, and I was saying, do you really need the deep analysis for the, like, obviously it's good against, like, Affinity and Gardens and stuff. Can you not put that in the board and then run 2 more interaction pieces? Like, even if it's another Sleep of the Dead, another Artful Dodge, or even just run 2 Demon Inferiors. Because, again, they had 2 in the side, and that card as well was quite good. Overperformed for me as well.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like, the deep analysis, in some matchups, it's obviously really good. In other matchups, you basically do not want to see it at all. But a lot of the times, it feels like if you mill it, you're happy. If you draw it, you literally don't want it. You just have to find, like, a brainstorm or something to try and get rid of it. I sort of felt the same with that Terror League. Like, against fans, it was amazing. Against Gardens, it was pretty solid. But then, other than that, I just didn't want to see it. So yeah, you could be right. Maybe those are the slots. Rather than cutting, like, some of the cantrips, you cut the deep analyses for the like Artful Dodges or the Sleep of the Deads in the main, or the Demon Furious, like you said. Even the Demon Inferior, like, its upside so high. Like, if you brainstorm and then just cast it for 1. But I remember watching your video, and there was, like, a few times where you had it in your hand and it was like 4, and you just couldn't cast it. Or you'd, like, try and Thought Scour into something and it would cost 3, and you were, like, stuck on lands or something, and you just couldn't cast it. It just looked dead awkward.
Yeah, it definitely could be awkward for sure. Having access to the potential of a hard removal spell was quite good as well. There was a few times where it potentially came up that if they did keep it on top, you could just Thought Scour it away and it's gone forever anyways. Which was pretty nice. But yeah, it's not as free as Boomerang. Like, Boomerang just does what it says on the tin. It's very good at what it does. But yeah, I think those are probably the flex shots, and I probably would have deep analysis in the deck. Just I feel like there's that little grind. Like, there's not very many grindy matchups that you can easily just put them in the board.
So you'd have it in the 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just like the main deck's, like, so tight now. There's essentially like 2 to 4 flex slots, and that's basically it. So you're sort of really tight on space.
Yeah, 100%. And then the other thing I did was I was talking to Callie on Friday generally about he's been testing, like, the idea. I don't know if you've seen the treasure sort of sacrifice version of Glee combo. So with, like, Shambling Ghast and Greedy Freebooter, and then using, like, Village Rites and Dead of Dispute to like to make
basically the mono black deck that splashes the Brood Skull. Yeah.
And then we were talking about it, and then he pulled up a list which he's ended up recording, and I think he posted on Friday. I think it was. And then I was going to post mine on Friday, but I was like, oh, well, instead of having both the same deck up on the same day. So mine's probably up now as we speak. And that's my take on it, which is quite interesting, which is more like a... it's just, there's no, like, stars or energy refractors. It's full-blown just creatures, sacrifice effects, combo, duress. And that's about all you need to me, because you've got, like, 4 Mez Fiends as well. Like, 4 Mez Fiends with Village Rites is just, like, I will take that. That is heaven for me. But yeah, that was a good league, and I've just kind of been messing about with that, because in my latest version, I've added Nested Shambler to the deck, the one that makes squirrels. just because I want to get a second sadistically on a nested shambler to then sack it to make infinite squirrels and kill someone with squirrels. And that is my aim of the entire video. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just doing some recording and trying to find something fun to play, really. Because I don't really feel like... I think I'm in the same boat as you. I don't really have a deck. My deck pre-Modern Horizons 3 was, I'd say, was Mugworts. And
yeah, definitely.
I can't...
And it's unplayable.
I just can't even bring myself to see if it is playable.
Yeah.
That's my... I played it once. It was actually the first deck I played post Modern Horizons 3. Completely forgot about Thraben Charm, and then got like 3 people playing White Weenie, and I was just like, all right, here we go. And it was just like, this is fun. And then I've just never brought myself to play it again. Oh, and I actually, the other 2 decks after that were Ponza, but like actual Ponza at the time. And my deck was the old pre-MH3 list, so I had a 2-2 split of... No, I had 3 tramways on 1 Drossforge bridge. So like all my tramways just kept getting blown up, and I was like, all right, okay, this is fun. I'm having a great time playing this deck right now. And I've just never brought myself to play it again, because I was so raging at that league that just went terribly.
It's one of those. It definitely did get hit on by Thraben Charm. Obviously, at the moment, Thraben Charm isn't super highly played. But also like decks are prepped for creature combo with Glee being so good. Yeah. So it depends how easy it is for you to get around that. And obviously, you sort of now need your own interaction as well, because Glee's just faster than Mugwort. So yeah, it feels like it needs just a rebuild more than anything. I imagine the tools are probably there, but it's just getting them together.
Yeah, I seen that Bako did quite well with I think he double 5-0'd with a Mugwort list. I think it was not last week. Yeah, it was like a week ago-ish. Because I think I put down that Mugwort would return because I thought Bako would pick it up because he double 5-0'd, but then he played like Mono Blue Terror. But it was a list basically with like 3 to 4. Is it the Pilferer, the goblin that makes a treasure, and you basically that just speeds up the deck. Like you can turn. I think you can turn 2 if you're very 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 lucky. With Pilferer, Skirk Prospect, and then you just have the nuts in your hand because you make that much treasure and stuff. But I always hate the Pilferer as well. So then it's like more reasons. Like I don't want to speed up the deck. I like the whole graveyard shenanigans with the deck, and it's just like Affinity's got 3 spell bombs in the main, and then and it's like I'm not fighting through this. I just can't be bothered.
Everyone's prepped for terror.
I could probably play it and do okay, but I don't want every game to be a big strain on my head. This is the best way I can say. Sometimes I just want to arbor elf into a big dumb dude and forget about my life. Anyways, would like to move on to some news?
Yeah, go for it.
So just a reminder, in case you missed last week's episode, Casting Commons, Twitter or X, we have started retweeting all challenge leagues and spicy brews on Twitter. We're trying to ensure that we are like utilizing the Twitter page as like a hub. So if you want to look at what people are playing, how to adapt to certain metagames, just give us a follow on Twitter because we are retweeting like crazy and sharing great content that we think is really beneficial, like we did today, which moves on to the Kirblinxy's video with the meta-analysis. He did over 3,000 games and he analysed them and the win-lose rate to every deck against every other deck, basically, using the challenge data, which, again, shows you how to keep ahead of the metagame, what's good against what, what's bad against what. So keep checking out the Twitter because we're best place to be. We're ahead of the game. Moving on to some tournament news. On the 24th of August, which is this weekend,
yeah,
right?
this weekend.
Recollect in Chester are running a Pauper Winner box, £20 entry. All the description and data links are in the show notes below. Check that out. I don't believe there's anyone from ourselves going to that because on the day after, on the 25th, there is a monthly Pauper event at Harlequins in Preston, which is £10 entry and has scale and prize pool for however many players, and that's a lot closer to us.
Yeah, and it's an hour and a bit closer to us.
So unfortunately, just awkward timing on the bank holiday weekend events, but
I was trying to work out to go to both, but I just don't have the money for that much hotel and traveling at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm away as well. I'm in Scotland, but yeah. So, anyways,
Always got an excuse.
always. I don't like dusting off paper cards. That's what it is.
It's because you're on the Dex Mogwarts and you don't want to play
it. Anyways, on the 28th and 29th of September, come on, Katowice in Poland is hosting a Pauper event, and they are doing the Pauper Classic event, which is normal Pauper, and also a Pauper Trios event. There will be on-demand side events too, and I have been told, I have good authority, that this is the best event in Poland. The cap for the main event is 128, and tickets are on sale now, and they are in the description below, so please check it out. I don't think we'll be going to that one because, it's in Poland, but it will be a great event, and we'll add it on our to-do list to get there eventually. I do believe Hyson is going.
To be fair, it's one that if we have a bit of notice, like the flights are pretty cheap to get there.
Yeah.
We could definitely go to those. But yeah, it looks like a sweet event. I'm sure we'll be able to cover the deck lists next week.
Yep.
Or the week after, because the 29th is like a Thursday or something, isn't it?
It's September. A month away.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so not next week. The week after it finishes.
And after all that, the other tournament news is, do not forget to check out Pauper Dan on Twitter, as he is retweeting all the other UK events that we can't cover, and a great person to generally follow, because he'll also have national updates probably too, eventually, soon, maybe, hopefully. Who knows? And then moving on to our final bit of news is the MTGO Creator Program is back. We forgot to mention this when it did come out. I think it's been out for like 4 weeks now, right? Something like that ish. If you are a content creator, or even if you're, they did originally on the first time round, it was like if you are thinking about being a content creator. I think that's sort of gone now. It's more if you are a content creator and you'd like to be obviously a part of the cool stuff that Magical Line and Daybreak do. Yeah, just apply. It does have like a list of requirements, which they've changed, I think, twice now.
It's a bit of an odd one. Like the first run, they sort of accepted a load of people with subpar requirements, and then this run they like upped the requirements massively from the first run. So they may be learning from their original mistakes, but
yeah,
it's definitely a good thing to get involved in if you meet those requirements.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very odd. I don't know why they changed it, and they didn't really say why they changed like the two requirements, but moving forward, I'd imagine, because they said they are going to keep doing these, sort of intermittently have rounds of creators that I'm guessing they're going to eventually have the same requirements, bar obviously the first one. But I don't know why they've decided to do it. But yeah, if you are a content creator and you do meet the requirements, which are listed on the link in the MTGO Daily blog or whatever it is, fire away and apply. Worst thing they can do is say no. Even if you're close to the requirements, I'd consider applying and see if they say no. It's the worst they can do. Yeah. And that is pretty much it for news. Would you like to move on to the challenges, which we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday to cover this week?
Yeah. So Friday the 16th, 61 players. First place out of nowhere, Kuldotha is back. Second place Affinity, third place Gardens, fourth place Jund Gardens, fifth place another copy of Kuldotha, sixth place Affinity, seventh place Jund Glee, and eighth place Black Green Glee. And then the two near misses, another copy of Jund Gardens and another copy of Black Green Glee combo. A pretty mixed up challenge. They're all like sort of fairly high up the tier decks, I suppose. Gardens is a bit of an outlier, but it's sort of edging into that top 5. But to see obviously two variants of it is pretty cool. Kuldotha just sort of back on top out of nowhere, really. I believe it was the most played deck as well.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to see. The list that won as well is like quite an old school Kuldotha. It has no reckless lackeys in at all. It's still running the Goblin Grenade tech, but also has a one-off end the festivities in the main, which again is like quite an old like tech piece for fighting other Kuldotha decks. But probably pretty good at clearing a lot of spawns out the way as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like it's surprisingly a pretty good call. To be fair, like obviously with Kuldotha being the most played deck, there was 12 pilots, and then slowly followed by Broodskill being 11 pilots. Like it clears a lot of like Rumble spawns away, clears obviously the Goblin Tokens away, and also has some um surprise sort of effects in so against like elves, which has appeared a lot recently in a few challenges. It has just a lot of random utility. It also gets rid of like Refurb Familiar in like Affinity and Crackland Shaman, so it's not completely dead. It definitely has uses. Worst case scenario, it does 1 damage to the face, so it can't be too bad. But
I guess the other sort of most standout thing for me is the Jund Gardens list. In fourth. It's a pretty interesting list. It runs a Bloomburrow card, which I'm not sure if you've seen it being played yet. Which is Heaped Harvest, which is 2 and a green artifact that is a food. So you can pay 2, sack it, and gain 3 life. But when it enters, and I believe when you sacrifice it in particular, not when it dies, when you sacrifice it, you search for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield tapped,